All right, hello everyone. This is Cover Four with the guys. I'm Marquise. I got Nick with me, Will, and I got Terrence. How you doing today, Nick?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you having me on here. Appreciate y'all boys being on here with me. Hope y'all are having a good day, man. I'm ready to go.
What about you, Terrence? What up, Scott?
Listen, man, ready to catch all the smoke on this podcast. Ready to give y'all some valuable information, some good insight into what we think and pick everybody's brains and just have fun. A lot of arguments.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what you got? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I appreciate it being here, and I'm ready for some heated debates, man. I'm ready for it.
All right, bet. So right now I'm gonna just get into it. Who y'all think was or actually, who's somebody on your current team? Who's your favorite team? And who you won't tolerate sounding like that for? Like my favorite team is obviously the Ravens. There's no Lamar slander or Lamar Jackson slander on this podcast at all. I'm not hearing it. Don't say nothing about it. None. It's not acceptable. Nick, who you got?
The jersey says it all. We're not going to talk about the Jet, Julio Jones. So, number one wide receiver in the league. I know he's been hurt over the last couple of years. His only question is durability. But when Julio's at 110%, there's no receiver in the league that can touch him. To be honest, route running, deep threat, strong, big. We've seen what he could do. So yeah, I will not tolerate any Julio Jones slander.
Cuz who you got?
Y'all know I'm rocking with the Patriots. Who I'm not tolerating no slander over is tough because everybody done evaporated on us. But Cam, man, he gonna turn back the clock. 2015 this year. Last year, he had a weapons to even throw to last year. So this year they definitely beefed up the offense for him with the 2 tight ends. Went out and got 2 receivers. Let's see what Bill do in the draft. And man, like I say, Cam, he gonna turn back the clock, and he rocking, I'm rolling.
All right, well, what you got? What you got?
You already know my team is Washington. Formerly the Redskins. I don't know what they're gonna call themselves. They keep putting these stupid polls up, and then they give people like 50 choices. So like, I don't know. People keep saying, "Oh, let's call them the Red Wolves," and I'm like, please don't do that. Just don't. Just don't.
So you ain't tolerating no slander over the name. You ain't even got a player. It's the name.
I mean, we got some solid players. We don't have a franchise player. We don't have somebody. I mean, you could say Chase Young is probably.
I'm about to say Chase Young, right?
Oh,
he's there, but he's still fresh.
Don't be disrespecting my man, Scary Terry, bro. I think Scary Terry is an animal.
Oh yeah. And we got who else? We got Samuel. He can catch every now and then.
Yeah, we'll get into the football team debate.
That's the thing. When you think football team, as of right now, you think Chase Young. And some people might think Ryan Fitzpatrick, who he has something in him that could help us, but I'm not too positive on it. I'm like, hey, we're gonna see.
I'm gonna let you know right now. The football team don't make me think of Ryan Fitzpatrick. No Fitzmagic. It does not.
Some people, because it's fresh.
Yeah, at least
that follow Fitzpatrick are like, oh, he's going to the football team. Okay, cool. Word. All right,
I guess I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Not yet. He ain't showed up yet. He ain't put in no time. So
we're gonna have to see, because I mean, at some point, when people think Ryan Fitzpatrick, they're like, oh man, that man, he puts in work. And then the other half is like, it's Patrick. It's Patrick.
I got you. All right, we're gonna chill on the football team slander. So, I'm gonna ask Terrence this: who you think was the second defense last year in the NFL?
It's tough. The second. That's a tough question. Really tough. I don't know who I'm rocking with for the second defense, honestly.
All right, Will, you got somebody for the second?
For the second defense,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I would put Washington. They were like top 5 maybe. But as for the second, honestly, I gotta say it was either The Rams did put up some solid defense last year.
See, it's tough.
But then because Bills they had a killer offense. That's what they had. But the Rams, they had a surprisingly good defense.
So you going Rams at 2?
I'll go with Rams with 2.
All right,
they were fine with it.
I'm gonna chop them off and show y'all what Pro Football Focus had to say about it. So Pro Football Focus has the Rams at 1. They got the Steelers at 2.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
And then
I was going with the Rams at 1, honestly. So I
was going with
Rams. I was
going with the Steelers at 1.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Marquise. But the Rams had the number 1 pass defense and second best pass rush in defense. I think
you're right. I'll probably go back to it, but I think you're right on that. So they had the Steelers second. Your football team is third, so don't be discouraged. They top 5. They third.
Yeah, I know they was top 5, but there was still some other teams that worked with what they had going on. Like, see, I put them in the top 5, but I can't place them at 3, 4, or 5 personally.
Okay. So we got.
I can put them in one of those, but some other teams they put up some blocks and some brick walls for the other teams. So.
All right, so
I personally had Steelers at first, but their offense just couldn't cut it.
No, not at all. Their offense could cut it for them, but the Saints are 4, Tampa's 5. Honestly, Tampa, I feel like the smartest thing they did was Todd Bowles stopped blitzing after like week 5. I think it was when Tyreek Hill just torched them. They were like, I think Todd Bowles was like, okay, our corners are not this elite for us to just stand the front 7.
Their DBs are not elite, but that pass rush that they get.
I think their DBs are good. I don't think they're bad. It's just they're not good enough for you to blitz as heavy as he wants to blitz.
But they get that blanket from the D-line, though. That pass rush that they're getting makes them look better because quarterback don't have that much time and they don't have to cover that long. So that helps.
All right, I got a question for y'all, all right? So I was thinking about this earlier. So in the Super Bowl, we saw what pass rush can do, right? So the biggest question in the NFL defensively typically is what do you do with Kansas City, right? Because their own worst enemy is 2 things: their defense and can you rattle Pat Mahomes. So in the Super Bowl, the Bucs' biggest weapon was the pass rush. They were able to get after them, Shaq Barrett, Levante David, all that pressure they were able to apply to them. Do you think that going forward in the NFL, it might not be so secondary heavy if you can really apply a pass rush like a Pittsburgh, like the Rams do, like even like the Washington football team with Chase Young? They're younger, but these teams that are at the top, one thing they all have in common is that they all have a crazy pass rush. Do we think going forward, rather than trying to match up with DBs, it'll be getting just straight to the quarterback, top to bottom?
I'm gonna go. I don't think so, because I think you still need a corner. Like you still need that guy. So I think your pass rush is heavy, but it showed in the Super Bowl, right? Kansas City didn't have any of their starting linemen, right? I think
that's
maybe one
too, right?
So if they had their starting linemen and Tyreek Hill catches the ball,
could have been a different game. Yeah,
they still get smashed in my eyes. They still lose, but it could be way different outcome if he gets some protection.
Yeah.
And I think San Francisco showed having a dominant pass rush is elite, like with Nick Bosa, and they had Richard Sherman, that elite corner to help. It shows like, hey, like we can do this and get to him. But I think it comes down to your secondary can't be bad, because secondary, they got a free safety that's good. They got a strong safety that's good. They got Vert he's a slot. He's on the other side of Sherman. So like they have good corners. You can't just go out there and not have good corners, I feel like, because somebody like Stephon Diggs, someone like Odell Beckham will torch or Mike Thomas on a quick route that their quarterback can just pop into him. He's going to destroy they're going to destroy those DBs.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely don't think that, like you said, during the Super Bowl, they didn't have all their O-line. And it really showed, you still need those guys on the back end. Look at the first game. Tyreek Hill killed the Bucs. Yeah. So,
I guess
you need at least one guy that's going to be, I can follow your number one receiver around all game. And, we're going to go, we might be 50-50.
Yeah. No, the point I'm making isn't obviously you need DBs, but like we said with the Bucs, and obviously they looked way better because of how bad the O-line for the Chiefs was decimated by COVID, injuries, all that. But what I mean, I guess, is like, so look at the Rams. So they're a defense that has all pro talent at every level, right? They got Aaron Donald
for sure.
at rushing the pass. In the playoffs, though, they almost got eliminated. I mean, like, their defense got completely neutralized by just being able to triple team Aaron Donald on every play. The fact that they didn't have an elite edge rush, he couldn't just bull rush straight through. It allowed teams to expose them on the edge, because all you got to do is, at the end of the day, throw away from Jalen Ramsey, keep Aaron Donald contained in that middle. If you can put your guard center, both guards and center on him, you can almost neutralize that defense. Now, obviously, it takes an elite offense like the Saints, like the Packers, and what have you. But I think that what the Bucs were able to do, again, Kansas City had a depleted offensive line, but might have created at least a blueprint for what you might want to look at for Kansas City.
Oh, I think like you said, the blueprint, that is definitely the blueprint. You saw, I don't care what anybody says. I've seen Mahomes play bad in 2 Super Bowls, and I think he's great. But I've seen this man play like, if that was Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield that played like that, it would not be, oh, he got a Super Bowl. It'd be like, oh, he barely got the Super Bowl. Like, they wouldn't be praising him as much. So I just feel like it does play a role, because, like you said, Jalen Ramsey, he'll shut down a whole side of the field. Out of those top 5, only the Rams and I'd say the Saints have, like, the Rams have Jalen Ramsey, and then the Saints have Marshawn Lattimore. So those are only 2 in the top 5 that have corners that are like, all right, I'm gonna lock up your top guy, or he's not gonna go for at least 100 yards, you know? Yeah. So we got them, and then I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. We can jump back to Kansas City. Where do you think their defense ranks? We know that's a weak point, but where do you think their defense is at?
Somewhere in the mid-20s,
or they're. I think like middle of the pack, about the middle of the pack. Honestly,
I'd say in the 20s somewhere, right?
21.
About the middle.
Somewhere in the teens.
That's higher than I thought, to be honest.
They're 21, and I feel like they are a lot of pieces away. Granted, their defense shows up in times because they're experienced. They do show up.
And they got Chris Jones in the middle.
I'm about to say Chris Jones is a good starting point, right?
I think if they could get someone with Chris Jones, it'd be interesting, because they do have a soft spot at corner. They had Snead from the rookie from last year, bald. Probably could have been in the running for rookie of the year. Not like he would have won it, but could have been up there with those guys competing for it, because he filled that corner spot for him. Great. Yeah. And then we have
the Honey Badger. I mean, the Honey Badger is always a good.
They changed the game. They changed the game. It goes to show that a great offense, it's always been defense wins championships.
Yep.
I mean, if you can't score with them, their defense gets stopped in the right moments. And, Andy Reid doing stuff like, in the biggest moments, going forward on 4th and 1, throwing the ball on a quick out to Tyreek Hill. Like, how can you stop it? That
no fear style of play.
Yeah. How can you beat that offense? I mean, you can't match up on everybody.
That's speed too. When I was watching the Bills, I thought that's how they played. Like when they showed up, that offense decimated like defense, like it was nothing, just cut through them. And I started thinking, I was like, damn, I would never say this about the Bills, but they might become a threat eventually.
I mean, they're decent, but that run game is not good enough yet.
See, that's what gets them. That's what holds them back. Everything else more than that, like they have a decent defense that make stops. They don't really make stops when they need to. They just make stops.
Hey, Will, you cutting in and out kind of, boy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I feel you, but they definitely missing that piece with the running back. That's something that they definitely need to improve, that running back position. I mean, somebody like Devin Singletary just not getting it done. So, I mean,
they are running back away, but like how the same way people bring up the issue for Lamar and the Ravens run the ball too much. Like, what running back would want to go play for a team that isn't gonna give them the ball that much? But I feel like it's different. It's different because I feel like Buffalo is gonna give them the touches. The most out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say, Buffalo is definitely gonna run the ball, especially with a quarterback like Josh Allen, who's underrated athletically. Right, like we've seen, he can get downfield and he's not afraid to take a hit. He's no Lamar Jackson, obviously, not Kyler Murray, obviously, not Russell Wilson, but like you could sneak in a couple read options. And if they could get like one good scat back who can catch out of the backfield, it might be the difference for that offense.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
So we got that. This is a team I don't really want to say too much about. Will, you got your mic good? Can y'all hear Will?
Can you hear me?
Nah, he sounds like he's got
you're chopped up.
the smoker taser, you know?
Yeah. We can't hear you right now. You're like echoing. I don't know if you're too close or your Wi-Fi, but
Probably the Wi-Fi.
oh, look,
there you go.
Crystal,
You're back.
I don't know what you did. Just stay there.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a team that I feel like is not going to make a threat at all because they are not like a Kansas City in a way, and they're not like a Buffalo. It's the Dallas Cowboys who have no defensive impact player at all. Like, it is impressive that they don't have an impact player. You pay Jalen Smith all that money and give him the money. I'm all with players. Give them their money. They earn it. But you paid him. Your only threat is DeMarcus Lawrence. You have no corners. I mean, you have Trevon Diggs. I like him a lot. He's a good corner, but he's young and he's aggressive. So he goes for the ball.
I'm sick of all these Cowboys fans, just how ignorant they are just to go 8-8 every year. It's a big disappointment every year. Now they can go 8-9 since it's a 17-game season.
This man trying, the boy.
But it's the truth. He's not telling any lies. Every year it's we need this. We need one piece away. Give Dak his money. Bro, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen?
It's not even that. It's every year. Oh, we gonna win this year, championship. We going to
you in the most trash division. No offense,
every year.
Will.
We going to the Super Bowl.
No offense, Will. But
we going to the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
Fair point though. I'm saying if you're Dallas,
that division has been trash. And, oh man, it was
it's always been awful.
Washington barely got out of that. It's terrible.
Going to the playoffs with losing records, is that that's what we're doing now?
Nah, not at all. But if I was Dallas, I think you're gonna have to trade one of those receivers. You got 3 of them. If you draft Kyle Pitts, you're crazy. I mean, I think he's amazing, but you need so much help on defense that I don't think you can draft Kyle Pitts. But we'll change it up.
I'm not sure if people trying to follow behind Kansas City and just get their offense so potent that it don't matter how bad the defense is. They just need a piece or two here and there to make a difference, make a play at a certain time in the game. I mean, I know they picked up Keanu Neal from the Falcons.
Safety, yeah.
I mean,
he's a little older now. He's serviceable.
High school. He's pretty good.
He's serviceable.
He's able to make an impact, on that defense on the back end. But
the deal with Keanu Neal is
injuries.
Diehard Falcons fan, bro. So I saw him at his best at back-to-back Pro Bowl seasons. But
injuries.
if he can stay on the field, he's one of the hardest hitting safeties, and he can cover. But the problem is there's a price to pay when you're always playing that aggressive. And I say damaged goods, but I honestly like Keanu Neal as a player. But I want to see him do well. But at the end of the day, I don't know if his style of play. I don't know if you all remember Bob Sanders back with the Colts back in the day.
Man.
They're like similar.
That's
players.
A legend, bro.
Always hurt though, right? Like Bob Sanders had crazy seasons, but being that high energy and hitting all that time, and you're not that big, I mean, it plays a toll, especially with these tight ends nowadays, like Gronk, Kittle, Kelsey. Like these dudes can put a pounding back on you. So at the end of the day, these slot options are a lot bigger, and you gotta get a little bit more durability if you're gonna play that style of play.
All right, true. All right, so let's change it up a little bit. We just had free agency. Free agency was wild. Everybody, the Bucs brought everybody back. I don't think I've seen that ever really. Like the whole team came back. So they did that. We had some other moves, but I want to go over winners and losers, like from a team aspect. So I'll start off. I think the Browns are big winners. Like I think the pressure is gonna be on Baker. But I think he's going to do fine. I don't think he's going to do bad. I think he's going to do fine. But the pressure is on them because they added Clowney on the edge to help. I don't care what anybody says. Clowney didn't live up to the hype of those big hits we saw in Carolina. But Clowney is more than good enough to put on your roster to put at the edge. And he knows exactly where to be.
If you look at it, they got that two-headed monster in the backfield coming out of their O-line, that pound game. Like, I mean,
number one O-line in the league.
it got the great play action, obviously, because of that run game. So it's like Baker is set up for success. All the weapons he has, from the tight end to the receivers to the running backs, O-line solid. There's no reason for you not to be successful. Like, if he don't have a good year this year, like if they don't make some noise this year, I mean, his time, it's running short.
Okay, so they did add John Johnson II from the Rams. I think it's a big pickup for them. Really, they added everything on defense that they needed to. He's going to give them a big impact playing on the back end, helping. I mean, we don't have any big play receivers in that division that they would have to really worry about. Steelers throw the ball crazy, so they're going to, neutralize that. They added Troy Hill at corner, and they brought back Rashard Higgins, which I think is a big deal because him and Baker have a lot of chemistry. If I had to say a loser, it's definitely the Titans or the Bears. The Bears, because they swung and missed. They couldn't land
Andy
Watson.
Dalton.
They somehow get Andy Dalton. They couldn't land Watson. They couldn't land Russell Wilson. So now I think the Bears are going to have a problem where you're going to get to the point where you're going to have to trade all those defensive players and hit the detonate button on the rebuild. You're going to have to move Mack. You're going to have to move Akil Hicks. You're going to have to move Eddie Jackson. Like, you're going to have to move all these guys to rebuild your team because that's the only value you can dish out.
I mean, I definitely agree with the winner being the Browns, but I'm going to also sneak in the Bucks. I mean, bringing back everybody. It's a championship roster. You have to, respect that. I'm going to also sneak in my team. I mean, think about the narrative. Nobody wants to go to and play New England. Brought in the top 2 tight ends, 2 solid pieces at receiver, hella pieces, on the defensive end. So, I mean, that whole narrative, nobody wants to come here, nobody wants to play, without Tom Brady. That whole narrative is out the window now. Also, with the losers, number 1 on my list is the Raiders. I mean, what in the hell are they doing? What are they doing?
They're screwed. They don't have the blueprint to anything. Nothing.
Trading away everybody and like for what? Like, what are you doing? I'm just not sure what they got going on over there. What Gruden got going on. This man got paid $100 million to come and go to Vegas and just.
That man stole a check.
He got away with highway robbery. I ain't seen that since Jamarcus Russell.
Bro,
that man won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's team and then said, all right, I'm going to cash out.
Bro. Yeah. Now, listen, I know we speaking about football, but think about this for a second. You got Steve Kerr that come in after Mark Jackson and take over what he created in Golden State. Mark Jackson should have a job somewhere. There's no reason why he doesn't. Honestly.
Yeah. I'm behind.
Steve Kerr, he didn't do nothing. That team, it took years for them to develop that chemistry.
That was a well-oiled machine. He got keys to a Lambo and he just started driving off the lot. Yeah.
I think he's a smart dude and Kerr deserves credit, but I think Mark Jackson deserves more because then Kerr won that 1 year and then he got Durant, so it's just overpowering.
Yeah, Mark Jackson took that team to the next level, right?
Exactly.
But if I was to go on. Exactly. And honestly, actually, I don't really like the comparison, if I'm being honest. Like, I get from the face value, right? But Steve Kerr can actually coach. And I'm not saying
100%.
I can't say Gruden can't coach, but at the end of the day, I think he's a good quarterback guru, and he's doing as best as he can with Derek Carr. Because let's be honest, Derek Carr is middle of the road at best, but he can be highlighted he could be, covered as though he's one of the top tier guys. And if you get him the right pieces, maybe. But at the end of the day, Gruden's not doing much with defense. We thought he knew defense because of, again, the cover 2 in Tampa, which was Monty Kiffin and Tony Dungy. It had nothing to do with Gruden. And then also being able to play the Raiders in that Super Bowl, the team he literally got traded from. First time we ever seen a coach get traded. Step in and be able to win that Super Bowl. One playoff appearance besides that in his entire tenure in Tampa. He does that quarterback camp in ESPN all those years, which was great. And then steps into the Raiders with $100 million contract. Bro, honestly, I applaud that man because if you're able to get that bag for your family, damn. I mean, I need to see his book and know how you're able to do that.
I would turn down to this, so I don't blame him.
Who you got for the winners and losers here, Nick?
I mean, we already said it. The obvious winner is Tampa. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If you're able to bring everybody back. not to do another basketball analogy, but Brady's turning into LeBron, right? Everyone wants to play with him. He's able to get Gronk out of retirement. On defense, they bring back Shaq Barrett, Levante David. On offense, you get Chris Godwin with the franchise tag. You know, you bring everybody back. So you don't need to necessarily sign. And the only thing that you needed to do was bring in more of a, Brady loves the play action pass. You bring in Giovanni Bernard. So you bring in even more of a rushing threat to be able to extend that play action. I mean, at the end of the day, that's an easy pick, right?
Yeah.
For my loser, I actually have Seattle. Reason being is 21st ranked offensive line in the NFL. At this point, we've already started to hear the chirps of Russell Wilson wanting to get out of Seattle. So your number one priority should be, let's keep Russell Wilson happy. And in the NFL nowadays, you see just as important as defense wins championships, O-lines are going to keep your quarterback happy. He's got the weapons, but if you can't protect him, and I know he can make crazy plays. He's only 32, but at a certain point, his legs are going to start going out. It seems like they're taking more care of Pete Carroll, who is 70-something years old. He's going to be out the door. Take care of your asset, Russell Wilson, at this point, and didn't really add much. Your biggest thing was re-signing your center, who is one of the worst starting centers in the NFL. And if that's your biggest acquisition is keeping that guy, I mean, at the end of the day, I really don't think they did enough for Russell Wilson. Hopefully they get it back in the draft.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely haven't. Their defense was on pace to be the worst in history. And, and Russ has been sacked the most in the past, decade?
Yeah.
So,
They did add Gabe Jackson. I think he was from the Raiders. I'm pretty sure they traded for him. So they got him, but they didn't have enough talent, like you said. Russ does take some sacks because he tries to invade, but that's another topic for another day. Like you said, the pressure, if AFC, we're all on it. It's on for the Browns. We all got that collective agreement that pressure's on the Browns next year. NFC, I'm going Seattle. Pressure's on Seattle. Who you guys got?
So, I mean, I definitely agree with what you said. I mean, it piggybacks off my free agency. Hopefully they can hopefully they can get it back with the draft and everything. But in the NFC, this is going to be a weird pick, but I actually was going to go with Dallas. So we talked about how every year it's, like you said, Terrence, the fans are hyped, the team's hyped, media's hyped. When are y'all going to cash in on that check that you're actually a good team? I don't want to hear it anymore. Dak's got the pressure off his back. He's getting the contract that he wants to get. Like you said, Keith, they got the receivers. You got one of the best running backs in the NFL when healthy. The O-line is always there. Defense isn't necessarily where you want it to be, but I keep hearing about Leighton Vander Esch being one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Y'all got to cash in at some point. So I want to see when that's gonna that check's gonna get cashed in.
Yeah, I mean, you can go with them as well. NFC right now, definitely a wild card. I mean, I can definitely agree with Seattle, and I can also agree with your pick as well, Nick. I'm gonna throw Arizona out there.
That's a good one.
It might be a little wild card, but at the end of the day, you got to think of the things that they've been through the past couple of years. Back-to-back number one picks going on quarterbacks. You know, really rooting on, obviously, you got traded Josh Rosen away, keep Kyler Murray. And, I mean, he's dynamic. I mean, you know, he's dynamic. Now you go out and get DeAndre Hopkins. Stole him from the Texans.
we ain't gonna go there. We ain't gonna go there with the Texans, man.
Thank God Bill O'Brien is out of football.
Yeah, thank God Bill O'Brien. He long gone. But now you lose Patrick Peterson. You bring in JJ Watt. I mean, it's a lot of things going on in Arizona. I feel like the pressure's on Arizona, honestly.
Like you said, I think the pressure is on Arizona in a way, but I feel like they do have time because Kyler's still young. Yeah. They are missing a tight end. They did get the center, Rodney Houston, from the Raiders. They got him. So that's the help there. They let Kenyon Drake go, unfortunately, but they're a tight end. Maybe they got AJ Green. They got him from the Bengals. I think AJ Green's healthy. That's dynamic. You still need a tight end.
James Conner, too.
If your second option is AJ Green, you're doing great.
You're doing great. I don't care what nobody says. I feel like he did last year. He was banged up a little bit, but he didn't play because
he wanted to continue his career.
He wants to play for somebody else to be able to compete.
Yeah, not a bad move at all. I mean, you got DeAndre Hopkins and you got AJ Green. Like now you got what his name is running the slot. Can't think of his name right now.
Larry Fitzgerald?
Not Larry. The Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Christian Kirk. Yeah.
Christian Kirk. So I mean, hopefully, he got to definitely become a bigger playmaker this year. I mean, having AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins should take a lot more pressure off of you. So
definitely, we got some.
He's probably gonna have a big year, honestly.
Yeah,
for sure. We got some breaking news here. Actually, it's not football related, but Will had to go because his mom was in surgery. The surgery was a success. She made it out of surgery now. She'll be released as early as Friday. So
let's go, Will.
He was a little choppy with the audio, maybe, a little scary internet or something, but his mom made it out of surgery. So that's a big deal for us. We're happy for him. He's part of the team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then we got the other Nick who's not here right now. He's working, grind doesn't stop, but he'll be here probably next week. So we're going to change gears again. And we're going to go to which free agent move didn't make sense to you. I'm going to start it off. I don't think Hunter Henry going to the Patriots. I know because you're a Patriots fan, you love him. It didn't make any
I'm going to tell you why it makes sense though.
Hold on, before you even go there, it didn't even.
Yes, let's go.
It don't make no damn sense because this man, he said this. Nobody else said this. From a money standpoint, it made sense because probably nobody else was gonna pay him that cash. That makes sense. Go get your bag, young fella. But this man said he wanted to play with a good quarterback. I love Cam. If you quoted, I want to play with a good quarterback. You mean to tell me you let Justin Herbert, a rising star, to go play with Cam? Think about this. Right. You left there to go play with Cam, and you could have went. You could have played in Seattle. You could have played with elite people that don't have tight ends, and Cam.
Seattle already has a tight end.
Greg Olsen, he retired.
They got
the younger dude. Yes, they do. But yeah, he could have went to Seattle. The Vikes need another tight end because Kyle Rudolph went to the Giants. They got Irvin Smith Jr., but he's still a rookie, so you could have went there. Could have went to Cincy. Like, there's so many.
You want to know why it makes sense?
Could have went to the Cardinals.
This is why it makes sense. Belichick has ties to this man from way back, right? Now, let's also look at the success the Patriots have had with two tight end sets.
Boom. That's what I was going to say, Terrence.
Now,
you hit it right there.
Let's look at this piece as well. You just said that Greg Olsen retired, right?
I think so, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Why did Greg Olsen have so much success?
With Cam in that offense.
There you go. That's why the move makes sense.
I actually agree with you, Terrence. It's not that it is a weird signing, but I agree with what Bill Belichick has been able to do with tight ends. You go all the way back to Ben Watson with their first Super Bowl run. What has Ben Watson been since he left the Patriots? He's been an average tight end at best. Obviously, I'll concede Gronk because Gronk was going to succeed anywhere. But he was able to turn Mike Vrabel into a tight end at certain points. So clearly the Patriots scheme where I don't feel like necessarily I didn't even think about the Cam thing with Greg Olsen, but necessarily the quarterback situation, he could have had a much better quarterback at this point in Cam's career. But Belichick with the schemes and the fact that he loves tight ends so much, I actually think it's a pretty good fit.
I think Cam is going to have a hell of a year this year, especially adding all the pieces on the offensive side and being able to go back to these two tight end sets. Both of these guys are playmakers. Jonnu Smith after the catch is an absolute monster. And then adding in Josh McDaniels as a play caller, I feel like this year, offensive wise, is going to be a complete 360 from what it was last year.
Okay. Yeah. Well, cuz who you got that the move did make sense to you in the league and NFL free agent?
The move that didn't make sense was, honestly, I don't see why somebody like Cincinnati would let go of Giovanni Bernard. I don't see why the Chargers would let go of Hunter Henry.
Which one just didn't make sense to you at all? Are you going to Giovanni Bernard?
The Hunter Henry move didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
That he could have had in LA, although he came to my team, it doesn't make sense why he left.
I think it was a decision because he can't stay on the field as much. He gets a little banged up. I think they had the debate of, all right, we're going to pay him this big money, knowing, all right, well, Justin Herbert just won Rookie of the Year. He's going to probably keep striding. At some point, we're going to have to pay him. They just paid Joey Bosa. Keenan Allen's paid. You're going to have the debate because it's going to happen. Derwin James is rehabbing right now. If my man stays healthy, I don't care what anybody says. Even him being injured the last 2 seasons, I sound ridiculous saying it, but he's the best safety if he's not injured. Sounds crazy, says because he hasn't played in 2 years. But they're gonna have the debate of, are we gonna let Derwin go, or are we gonna keep Derwin? Because they suffer from that. Their defense just isn't healthy. It's not that they don't have a good defense. They have a solid defense, and probably in that division, the best defense, and they just can't stay healthy. So I think, like you said, that
another one for me that don't make sense either is I don't know why the hell Kenny Golladay go to the damn Giants, bro.
Oh, don't even go there. I'm missing a receiver in Baltimore. So, Nick, who you got? We ain't even going there. We skipping.
They're not even a contender. Why the hell are you going to New York, bro?
We skipping that one. Nick, who you got? Unless that's your guy.
All right. So mine was, this is the one I was referencing earlier, and I hate to say this because I actually love him as a player. Patrick Peterson to Minnesota. So, yeah. All right. So now I need you to listen. So, fun fact. So Patrick Peterson, right? 8-time Pro Bowler. At one point, one of the best, if not the best cornerbacks in the league, right?
Oh, Father Time caught him.
So Father Time, and then 2, in 2019, had to sit out 6 games for performance-enhancing drugs, okay? So missed 6 games to that. Since he's been off the juice, one of the worst single coverage corners in the league, allowing 100%, allowing 100 passer rating in the last 2 seasons each. So when the Minnesota Vikings lost Anthony Harris to the Eagles, you're looking really more so for a safety. This is one of those smoke and mirror signs where you tell your casual fans, like, yeah, we were able to beef up the secondary. We got Patrick Peterson. You're still going to have that gaping hole with the free safety position. You overpay, even though it's only for a year, you overpay a kind of washed up cornerback who has not been the same since he's been off the juice. I really think that Minnesota is going to be hurt with that because they've always had a stout defense. They're not going to be able to withstand a lot of the positions, and having to go up against Devonte Adams twice a year now. I mean, that's going to be rough for Minnesota for the upcoming year.
Maybe he needed to change the scenery,
And I hope so, because I like Patrick Peterson. Maybe that could be what it is. But when I look at the last 2 seasons, I mean, imagine him in Father Time up against Devonte Adams, one of the most diciest route runners. I mean, that could be an ugly night twice a year for him.
But who can guard him, though?
You're right, Terrence. You're 100% right. It's maybe 1 or 2 that could line up against Devonte Adams. Maybe, right?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched this man, Patrick Peterson. I love him. I used to use this man on Madden faithfully. Like he was on my team, prime man. I watched DK Metcalf rip him apart. Okay,
and DK can't even.
DK drops the ball a lot.
Drops the ball and can't even really run routes.
He's a big player. Like he's gonna make big plays, but he does drop the ball at times.
I just gotta give a quick shout out.
This man apart.
If y'all drink beer, Scofflaw Brewing Company out in Atlanta, Georgia. Boom. We're just gonna. That's been my fuel for the evening.
I don't know if he's gonna actually do that, but yeah, we'll totally do that.
my bad. I don't know. I was doing the whole podcast in one move.
They might get up and try to kill us or something. I don't know, but we're gonna keep it pushing. Who's the biggest free agent impact that you think will have on the team that they're on? Preferably someone that is a new addition. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to go someone that he didn't play much last year, so I feel like he's a new addition and all his history. I think I got 2 people. I got Jameis. You guys are going to say, why Jameis? Jameis, his eyesight is kind of shaky. He got surgery again this year. Jameis had the chance to learn under Drew Brees this year.
He said he can see now.
Or last year. Yeah, exactly. He got the chance to learn over Drew Brees. Said he could see now. Sean Payton's a great coach. The team, they're great. They're on the line's great. He has Alvin Kamara. He has Mike Thomas. The defense is great. He lost Emmanuel Sanders. He went to the Bills, but the team is still solidified because Alvin Kamara comes out the backfield and makes plays. Now I'm forgetting Taysom Hill. So now you have a double-bladed sword of like, now we have him and him. How are we gonna you can't deal with him? And he gives you the big playability. I'm still telling you, to this day, that the Saints should have played Jameis Winston in the playoffs instead of Drew Brees. You shouldn't have played Drew. I don't care how.
Drew wasn't playing good at all.
He wasn't healthy. You couldn't get the advantage of Mike Thomas going over the top, and he wasn't healthy, but you couldn't even use him and utilize him and say, all right, we're going to take Mike Thomas and go over the top with him. You couldn't because it wasn't – Drew didn't give you that ability. So then the other place I got Will Fuller. This might be a surprise. He's going to miss a game because of a violation next year. First game he's going to miss. But the Dolphins have Devonte Parker, who is underrated. I think he's amazing. He's a number 2 receiver on a team like the Ravens. He'd easily be a number 1 because we don't have one of those. But Will Fuller is going to benefit because he's going to be able to take the top off the defense for them.
Hey, listen, they might get somebody like Jamar Chase in the draft too. So
I don't think for them that they necessarily need Jamar Chase because they have Devonte Parker and you'll have Will Fuller for a year. But since you're only going to have Will Fuller for a year, you could get Jamar Chase. That way you have someone for a longer contract.
Price too.
Exactly. If Will Fuller leaves, You got it. You're locked in. So it makes sense. I get it. Who you got, Nick?
So mine, actually, we're sticking with the Dolphins. Jacoby Brissett. So my pick, the reason for that is, look, I want to succeed. I want to see people succeed. So when we have a lot of these episodes, it's going to sound like I'm bashing a player. I'm really not. Durability is huge in the NFL, especially at the quarterback position. And someone it's one thing to be battling injuries your NFL career. I mean, this dude's been battling injuries since college, and he's got all the arm talent. I mean, for being as small as he is, he's got a crazy strong arm. He can make all the throws. But someone like Brissett, if he gets the opportunity, think about this. 3rd string in New England, Tom was out due to Deflategate, right? 2nd stringer gets hurt. Jacoby Brissett sits in, goes 4-1, has a good tenure with the Patriots. Gets traded to Indianapolis, has a winning record. A lot of people don't know this. He has a winning record in Indianapolis and is able to step in. Unfortunately for him in his career, they end up signing Phillip Rivers, and they want to give him his swan song, see what he can do for 1 year. In the year before that, Jacoby Brissett actually went 18 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions in 15 starts. I think he's a solid quarterback that has never really been given his chance. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see Tua fail, but if it happens where the Dolphins decide this isn't the right move, they traded out of that 3rd position, gave it to San Francisco. They're clearly trying to buy in on Tua. If it doesn't play out, I think they have a great backup plan in Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, and the fun fact about Jacoby too is, he represents himself and negotiates on contracts and everything.
Yeah, so he's a great quarterback. He's much bigger too. Like 6'5", 235, something like that. Big arm, can make all the throws. With players like Devonte Parker, who are deep threats, people like Will Fuller, who are deep threats, you want to have that big arm. I suffer. I'm a Falcons fan. Y'all hear this all the time. I can't stand noodle arm Matt Ryan having deep threats and you can't get the ball downfield. So having someone like that is big.
MVP, boy. All right, cuz who you got?
So who I'm going with was a recent signing, just because he's getting added to a pretty potent team. I'm going with Jadeveon Clowney. So he hasn't lived up to the hype of being that top pick, and he hasn't had the success in his career yet. But joining that defense, alongside of Myles Garrett, I mean, I think he's going to have a breakout season. Like he hasn't had the success yet, but I think is overdue for him to have that success this year.
All right, I got a weird point. Do you think it's a prove it or lose it year for him? Because you got to look at it. He had J.J. Watt his whole early career, and he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
And he had prime J.J. Watt. He didn't have, J.J. Watt like, he got injured during the time span, but he had prime J.J. Watt, and he didn't produce as much. So do you think it'll be like he'll get out of that shell more with Myles and him on the same side or opposite sides?
I just think he has a lot to prove. I mean, just think about it. How long this man set out in free agency.
It's disrespectful.
Demanding a certain amount of money. Nobody's going to pay you that because you haven't proven that you're worth the money. Mm-hmm. So for him, he has to prove it. He got to prove it.
He's been year one and done. You've seen him. He played that year with Seattle. He's about to play the Cleveland deals a year. I think for a player like him, Tennessee was a year. It benefits him because in a way it's like, if he does good, his 1 year deal is going to be bigger next year. I think on that Seattle team, he actually did play good. I actually was kind of weirded out that Seattle didn't bring him back because he played good. I thought they would be like, oh no, come back. We want you again.
Yeah.
They must hate Russell Wilson. That's all I'm saying.
They just bet the basket on, you know what? We're going to go get Jamal Adams for all these picks. Come on. And I don't understand it because to me, I think Jamal Adams is great. But Jamal Adams, if you think about it, this is going to sound weird. He's like a small outside linebacker because they play him in the box. He comes up,
Bro,
or
he
he
can't
blitzes.
cover worth a damn.
You know, and I'm at this point where I look at it now. You might as well say, all right, bro, just play outside linebacker opposite of Jordan Brooks, the rookie, and we'll go get another safety. Because at some point, I don't care what anybody says, like a safety has to be a ball hawk. Like you saw how dynamic Ed Reed was, or Troy Polamalu. He went in the box a majority of the time and still played the ball well. Like,
we were blessed. We were blessed our era with the safeties, right?
Yeah, we were.
Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu,
like
Brian Dawkins. We had all the great safeties.
You have these dudes, and like now it's you look at it. Who do you have? Like Deshaun Elliott for us on the Ravens, big hitter, right? He doesn't really play the ball too well, but huge hitter. He doesn't need to because he has elite corners. Is Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphreys? Like, all right, just slam everybody that comes your way.
Blessed with
Exactly.
Earl Thomas,
Harrison Smith is an animal.
We've seen them all, bro.
Underrated.
We've seen them all.
Harrison Smith is underrated in Minnesota. Won't ever get to shine because Minnesota is awful. Same thing with Kendricks. Minnesota.
I used to like Brandon Merriweather too.
Exactly. Like it's crazy. We had all these great players, but I think now that you're seeing these safeties, like they're just either playing one way. And I think Derwin James, if you can get back on the field, he's going to show you, like, I'm playing both
I
ways.
definitely think Jamal Adams needs to get in the box. At the end of the day, this man blitzes more than he's covering. So
and he gets there, though. That's the thing. So it's like,
I'm not saying he likes hitting. It's not a question
I'm not
whether or not he
saying
likes
don't
hitting.
put him in the box. But you're at this point where he's getting to the quarterback and he's disrupting plays. You might as well be like, all right, well, we're just going to put you in the box all the time, and we'll go get another safety.
And when you look at him from that perspective, then he almost looks like a bonus in coverage because when you think about it from a linebacker perspective, he's much
slightly better than a linebacker guarding the tight end.
Yes,
so it's like, okay, we have a dual threat now. You're only going to get
I agree. I never really thought about it like that. But yeah, when you bring it up to it like that, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to blitz him that much, just play him how you see him, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a sure tackler. He's dynamic and playmaking as far as
huge hitter.
And in the flats, he covers really well. That's the only play.
You think you're going to run the slant with him in the box constantly?
Yeah.
Boy. No, you're not.
One thing you don't want to do, though, is put him in man-to-man coverage because he's getting roasted.
Yeah. And he honestly doesn't even do that well in the zone over the middle of the field. I mean, I'm not going to say he's not good, but when you think about elite safeties in terms of coverage over the middle of the field, he really doesn't cover ground the same way that a lot of the top guys do. Like a Tyrann Mathieu. You can put Tyrann Mathieu almost anywhere on the field in zone coverage, and he's gonna make sure that you're
he's
covered.
Smaller dude too. Tyrann's like 5'9", 5'8". He's a small dude.
But he plays big, right?
He's smart though.
Exactly.
He's smart.
And people forget, bro. He had a whole like life-changing event. Like he talks about when he got arrested and everything. And how that he just like he kept going, he stayed with it. And then look at it, he got a Super Bowl and he's one of the top 5 safety in the league. Easy.
Yeah.
So all right, guys.
He's definitely an impact player on that Chiefs team.
For sure. So that will do it for us today. This is Cover 4 with the guys. Will would have gave us the advice of the day for you guys, but we'll have the stuff with his mom answer the call, to take care of business. I'll give it to you guys today. One big thing I think people forget about is as you're progressing in life, getting older, some people won't be able to come with you, or go with you. You're going to outgrow people. You're going to outgrow situations. Like things are going to change. You're going to constantly evolve. Don't feel bad necessarily about outgrowing those people. It's okay. It's 100%. It's fine. It happens with life. You can love people from afar. Like you can have all the love in the world for someone that you don't see. It's 100% okay. And that's it, man. So we're going to have it out. That's it. Thank you for listening to us. Hopefully you guys tune in for more episodes and we'll get this thing going. Later.
Appreciate you.